Welcome back. Good morning, everybody. We continue the conversation about discrimination, and this morning we are spotlighting anti-Semitism. We're all too familiar with our colleagues at City TV bravely stepping forward to share racist experiences. Now, our own Shai DeLuca is highlighting prejudices against him just because he's Jewish. Good morning, Shai. It's so good to see you, and I'm so sad to say it's under these circumstances, but at the same time, if talking about it helps even one more person not experience this, then let's do it. And thank you for being so brave and bold to share your story this morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. You know, Dee, you hit it spot on, right? You know, this is anything that we can possibly do in order to help others and get the message out and start a conversation. This is where we need to be.
Okay, awareness and education is key. So first off, tell us what happened to you recently.
So, you know, in 2000, it goes back a little bit. So in 2014, I became this kind of designated, you know, person within the Jewish community here in Toronto because of the public platform that I have to speak out about things specifically that have to do with anti-Semitism or anti-Jewish racism. And, you know, jump forward about a month and a half ago, I had come across an email from some of the people within the Jewish community who had said to me, have you seen this particular business, you know, things that they're posting on their Instagram, you might want to take a look. And I did. And I found what was happening was this particular business had decided to take a political stance on something that was happening overseas in Israel, in my home country. And, you know, that was okay. But what had happened is a lot of the posts started to become not just, you know, anti-political discourse or political discourse, they became actually anti-Semitic. She completely veered off into, you know, anti-Semitism. And I thought, you know, as who I am and you know, I want to help. I want to make sure that, you know, she's able to speak about what she wants to do politically without being racist. Mm. And I reached out to her on one of her posts, and I had commented on one of her posts. And I just realized that, you know, I wasn't going to get anywhere. And I decided I was going to leave it. You know, I figured more things were going to happen, you know, as more people were going to start speaking out. And she currently, before myself, had a hashtag on one of her boards that she hung outside of her store, which said, hashtag no Zionists allowed. Now, I want to preface by saying, you know, Zionism, and we spoke about this once on the show before, Zionism is the right of the Jewish people to indigenous rights in our indigenous home, nothing more, nothing less. And what that did was set off a human rights complaint by, not myself, by somebody else, under the umbrella of CJO, which is the Canada-Israel Joint Alliance, who are representing this, I believe she's 90-plus-year-old Holocaust survivor, who said, you cannot tell me I can't come into your business because that's, you know, discrimination. Fast forward. I woke up one morning and I had messages in my inbox on Facebook as well as my own private email with a screenshot of myself, my face. And over my face, this business owner had decided to put that I am a terrorist and that I point guns at Palestinian children to sniper them. Okay. And that, for me, as you know me, and, you know, people know me, that was my red line. I mean, you know, talking about harming children, talking about harming people in general, that is not something that I wanted, that I was going to let, you know, just fall to the wayside. Yeah, and, you know, that's kind of where we are now. She was sent a cease and desist letter, so I have a great legal team, Re-LL Law, and the Lawfare Project out of the U.S. I had contacted them and I said, listen, this is what's happening, what do we need to do? She was sent a cease and desist letter, she decided not to answer it, and they moved forward with a lawsuit.
Oh my gosh, and I know you can't say much more about that, but I know you're also an educator for this very reason. Like you said, some people you can rationalize with, talk to. We saw it with Nick Cannon. He reached out, right. The rabbis reached out to him, and he's still having conversations to the point where they're saying he is so remorseful, he is regretful for what he has said and all of his anti-Semitic comments, and we want him to continue being the host of The Masked Singer as a result because they see a true remorse and shame in his ignorance and in his hate speech.
100%. You know, if we can reach out and kind of build bridges, and we have to look at kind of the silver lining in these opportunities that, you know, if we can educate and we can change, you know, the way people see things or the perceptions that people have with regards to different ethnicities, minority groups, whatever it is, I mean, this is definitely a way to do it. And I think that Nick Cannon's story is, you know, is a great one. I mean, Nick Cannon's story really kind of was a jumping off point to, we saw a lot of people within the the music industry or well-known people, sadly come out with these thoughts and ideas about Jews and anti-Semitism. Just this past weekend in the UK, there was a huge story. There's a musician there, Wiley's CEO, who to be perfectly honest, didn't know who he was beforehand, but his entire feed was dedicated for a 48-hour stance to, we need to shoot Jews. Horrible, horrible things. We're talking about, violent acts. Of course, this is now under police investigation in the UK, but this is just really the tip of the iceberg. And I think what a lot of people don't realize, and what I am learning as I, am speaking out, is I come up from a very different mentality. I come, in Israel, I'm not a minority. I don't face the same things that I'm facing while I'm here. And what I've learned from the Jewish community here in Canada and across, the diaspora, is that people are afraid. People are afraid to talk out because historically, they've lost jobs, they've been targeted. And I said to myself, I have this platform. I cannot be irresponsible and, kind of look the other way. We have to use this to do better.
And it is something that happens that, often here in Canada, which is another statistic that I know you educate about. Thank you for doing what you do. You're an incredible spokesperson, ambassador, educator, teacher, and friend. And I'm so sorry you still have to go through this, but thank you for finding the courage and strength to educate all of us, because that's the only way it's going to stop, is through education. We love you, Shai.
Yes, and I love you, and thank you guys so much for really, spotlighting this, because I think this is a great opportunity to start a conversation.
Where do we find more information?
So you can absolutely go to thelawfareproject.org or follow ReLL Law here in Toronto. Of course, you can reach out to me on my social media. I'm always happy to help and answer questions that anybody has. And, let's rid the world of all this racism and all this kind of bigotry and prejudice. We can do it.
Well said. And send Shai your love at Shai DeLuca right now, because our viewers are always so supportive, and we'll give you some of that you need. Thank you so much. We love you, Shai.